Good evening, afternoon, morning. I don't know what time it is where you're watching, but right now, if you're watching live with us, it is afternoon, and more importantly, it is hockey time here from Chesapeake, Virginia, home of the Hampton Roads Whalers. Last time we sat in these chairs, there was a national title on the line, Lucas. Now we sit in these chairs, and I have to introduce in my right-hand man, my consigliere. Mon Frere from another mayor, the only man that is also a myth, a legend, and that's about it. There's only three things: man, myth, legend. Lucas Jones, what's going on? You can't talk till I introduce you in, and I'm not done with the introduction. Now that you tried to talk, I'm going to restart the introduction and tell you you can talk now. Take it away, Lucas.
It feels a little just like yesterday that we were here setting some stuff up for a national championship. Now we're back starting off the season. This is our first event for the USPHL season in person right now. I have already scaled many different types of ladders to try to get this thing going for the Dan K Show. I've gotten Dan his floor set up. We're getting set up for our games all this weekend. We're going to bring you the live bench interviews, the post-game star of the games, your pre-game shows right here from behind this table. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just excited to be back.
Yeah, you look at it right now, hockey's back, baby. I mean, we've had a little bit of a soft launch before this, but this thing's ready to go now. We've got over 100 games nationwide in the USPHL this weekend. Out here in the South Showcase alone, Thursday through Monday, there will be hockey aplenty. We start with the defending elite national champions, the Richmond Generals, taking the ice against the Florida Junior Blades. Will be on the call.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I mean, everyone loves to win a national title, but I got to imagine that coming back the next year, having to defend it, that's a difficult thing to do. Even the Charlotte Rush, who double-dipped in a previous year, were unable to defend that title. It's tough, but they came in with swag today, playing bagpipes with the speaker over the head as that organization was walking in the building. They're looking that challenge dead in the face.
Yeah, and you look, there's not a lot of returning faces with the Richmond Generals elite, right?
Right.
RC Light did a nice job marching guys up the ladder into the development model, getting them up to the premier. And you look right now, you've got Trey Schanberger, who we just know how solid the Schanberger family is on the ice. Aiden Uri and Brady Kangas, who we want to say Kangas strong to the Kangas family as they go through what they are going through right now. More on that as we get through the day and the weekend here. But Trey Schanberger, I mean, this is a kid wearing the big C for this Richmond Generals side. How important is he in the locker room? How important of a presence is he just for this squad as they try to make a march for a repeat?
Yeah, I mean, you can never discount the veteran presence. That's one of the most important things as you try to move year to year. It's why when you build, you try to get that next generation of players in, but you make sure that you've got guys who can lead them, who can wear the letters on that jersey, who can really kind of set that culture, right? They are your first line of defense in some respect in trying to do the next year what you did the previous year. He's a huge player, a huge presence in the locker room, really a true leader on the ice. So that's a really important guy to come back.
You look on the Florida Junior Blade side of things, and there are some familiar faces in the room, but we talked to Coach Lightning Rod Simmons before this one from the Florida Junior Blades, and he said the key was to go younger in the elite this year, and that's what you want to see. It's, again, talk about that development model, bringing in the youth, bringing in a lot of fresh faces. This is going to be a team that, taking the ice against the Richmond Generals, they're going to get a big test today in the first game of the showcase.
Yeah, I mean, but for Coach Simmons over there, he's trying to build obviously a great team on the ice, a great team off the ice, and he's always out there looking. He went very quiet on us for a couple of months. We heard a lot from him right as summer started, and then just nothing. And we thought, what could he be up to? What could he be scheming in Estero, Florida? We're going to get our first chance to see what he has put together today.
Lucas, you look at the game, what would you say the key to the game is for the Richmond Generals coming out, trying to – this is a team that's got a few games under their belt. Florida Junior Blades kicked things off last weekend. What do you think what are the Richmond Generals going to do to be successful?
Well, I think for Richmond, it is a team that the system, the strategy has survived roster changeover over roster changeover. The key, score that first goal, score that second goal. I think it's as simple as that for Richmond.
Score the third goal. Score the fourth goal.
Listen, if you can score
Get
6 in the
five,
first,
a handful,
you're settled. But I think for Richmond, that just getting that lead, Scoring that first goal, establishing your presence, and locking it down. It's what they do every single year. Some years are a little faster, some years are a little more physical, some years are a little bigger, but that strategy remains the same. Get that early lead, get out there and score first. Although I will say this, they are a team that does tend to survive those 2 to 3 goal deficits once you get into that third period. They have a way of changing momentum that not a lot of teams can claim.
Yeah, and you look at this game today, the Florida Junior Blades, you look at Nathaniel Majot coming in, centerman on that top forward line for the Florida Junior Blades. He's going to have a lot of things to say on this offensive attack. This is a guy that can create. This is a guy that can score. The apples will come. The G's will come. A lot of good talent there. You look down the list, some of the returning names, Sam Gusty out of Cape Coral, Florida, and Big Jacob Gusty, not going to be on the ice today, but Sam Gusty, the brother of Jacob, this is a guy who, these guys, I like to call them Thunder and Lightning, right? It's Thunder and Jacob. It's Lightning and Sam. He's going to play a big role for the elite as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got some name recognition there inside the program, but it really is a bit of a different look, right? So you have to have those guys that can get out there and do it on their own, right? Either they're creating space with speed or they're creating space with strong play, however they have to get it done. As long as you can destabilize a defense, you're going to be an impact player, but especially in this opening weekend. Most of the coaches we've talked to have talked about this weekend as, we either think we're set and we're going to find out, or we're not sure if we're set and we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And for your broadcasters as well, we're not sure.
You got to get used to it too, right?
We're not set, but we're going to find out, right? It's going to be an interesting weekend today, especially first day for some of these folks in this setting, right? In this tough weekend setting. So you're going to find out a lot.
Yeah, and you find it a lot early in the season. You got a team like Potomac coming in. This is a team I was high on last year. I think sky's the limit. Look, they get out of the gates a little slower than they want to get out here in the first week of the season, but I just see there's a lot of talent in that locker room in Potomac, and I trust in Coach Gratz as being a guy that can put a winner together. You talk about Grossi, you talk about Gratz, you talk about the crew behind the scenes with owner R.J. Ziegler. Like, this is an organization that can win games. There's a lot of talent in that locker room, and I think the talent's going to keep coming. Talking to Coach Gratz before this, more to come.
Yeah, I mean, they're competitive every year, and they just get better as the year goes on. That's the really scary thing, right? And this goes the same for a lot of teams that are going to be at this showcase. Where you are today, where you are in November is not going to be where you are in January after you get back from that winter break. There's a lot of moves that get made, some guys that get added, some guys that get moved around. So I think right now you're getting your first look. You're going to see who the big names are. You're going to see kind of what the team looks like. But I think for Potomac, again, it just has to come down to the consistency week in and week out. Make sure that your players are playing consistently, and make sure that you're chipping away at those weekends. You know, 100%. For a lot of these teams, you can't lose. You can't go 2-2 in a showcase, especially in the Florida and Southeast divisions. You just can't keep splitting weekends and expect to be successful.
I mean, yeah, wins are important, right? Everybody in the division is going to wind up with a winning record or nearby it by the end of the season with how these teams play. You look at another team in the building right now, the Columbia Infantry. Columbia Infantry in the elite, as Coach Gratz goes by. Look at that, the two biggest biceps in the room. That was like a Schwarzenegger movie right there, gentlemen. Nice job. Oh, Lenny and Gratz. Lenny probably a little flattered to be put in the same room as Coach Gratz in the bicep category. He does not want to be put there. Does not want to have to tilly it up. I can tell you that much.
They are now contractually obligated to go.
There will have to be a tilly. There will be a tilly. We will pick the date. We will let them know. They will be dropping mitts.
That's why we keep our biceps smaller, so we don't have to fight anybody.
I was talking today. We had a podcast earlier today, and I talked about they were talking like 4 or 5 days in the gym a week. I said perfect. A year. He said no, a week. I said, oh, no, you got to get back to the gym. But, no, we're looking at it right now, Lucas. This Columbia Infantry team, let's talk Premier Columbia Infantry right now. We're going to have their game later on tonight taking on the Motor City Gamblers with Coach McCrimmon, Coach Shaheen, and the squad coming in from Detroit. It's exciting to see that, first of all, to see teams coming from outside of the Southeast, outside of Florida, to this event down here. The job that the Hampton Roads Whalers organization does anytime they put an event on, top-notch. Chef Troy, if you are not eating Chef Troy's grub today over at the Whale Tail, you are absolutely wrong. All weekend long, get as much food as you can from there because this stuff, stellar. I usually will steal a little bit of the seasoning every time we leave this building.
Yeah, Brad Jones doesn't know this, but he had a stack of meal vouchers on the desk, about 20 or 30.
Doubled up.
I grabbed them. Yeah. I doubled up. I tripled up. We talked about, maybe maybe just, keeping it light this weekend. Chef Troy shows up. Nope, we're eating everything.
Yeah, it's always tough to keep it light when Chef Troy's around because things are delicious. Columbia Infantry, though, this is a team that kind of built a squad. You talk about elite to premier. This is an elite squad that's kind of an elite all-star squad, as Coach Schmuels has talked about it before. Guys that moved up from last year's elite teams around the league to this inaugural season for the Columbia Infantry Premier. And, you see them starting to get their legs under them as time goes on. They've played a few games here. They've got their first win under their belt. Game against Motor City tonight, this is one where they're going to be looking to try to put a show on for the folks at home on Hockey TV. Motor City's going to bring that hard-hitting Detroit style.
Yeah, Motor City is going to come into the showcase looking to make some waves, right, to really make some impacts. And, Columbia as well. I mean, they put themselves up against tough competition right out of the gate with the Charlotte Rush. And that was something they tried to do intentionally, right? They really wanted to throw their team into the thick of it, see what happened. It's a good game. It was a better game, I think, than that final score showed. They've got a lot of talent. They have to get a little bit up to that premier game speed. You saw it in that first game, first and second period. Great job. Kind of fell behind a little in the third. But it has picked up very quickly. I hear Coach Smulovich has been making his boys run on the treadmill almost nonstop over the last week or two.
You got to get the legs underneath you, right? That's what it's all about at this level, boys. Is we got to keep the skates. We got to keep the skates. It starts to become cement. And you're going to see at the showcase this weekend with all the games going on, that 17, 8.5 break. 8.5, 17 style, and what that brings with it is an extra 5.5 minutes of hockey in each period, Lucas. And the importance of that conditioning early on in the season, it is a slog when you get to the final five on each side. It's tough hockey to get through. It's about taking care of the puck, and a lot of times when those skates get tired, the brain does too.
Yeah, you really have to adjust your play a little bit. It kind of, in a way, provides a different picture for scouts, too, when you play kind of that split showcase game where you get to see not only what you look like with the fresh ice, but as that ice gets choppier, now scouts get to see how you perform when you're tired, when you've got that slog, right? When you can't get the puck to the skill players, how well can your team really get into the corners and battle for the puck? I think that is going to be something that scouts are very interested in, something we're always excited to see. It does make that final five a little bit unpredictable. A 1 or 2 goal lead at a showcase event that has that split period is really not a lead at all in some cases.
Yeah, we look at this Hampton Roads team that's going to be hosting our event and the festivities all weekend long. At the premier level, it's a lot of new faces this season, Lucas, but some guys we know pretty well. It's the Harrison brothers and Easton Harrison and Justice Harrison. We've seen a lot of movement and matriculation into the Southeast Division this offseason. Guys moving all over the place. And, there's a lot of animosity in the Southeast and the Florida divisions. There's a lot of rivalries, man. These guys want to win each and every year. So to make those moves cross town, always a tough one, right? And it's always the new digs. You start to get a target on your back, you want to be able to perform right away at the gates.
You're telling me that the Southeast and Florida aren't just patting each other on the back all the
They're
time?
not buddy-buddy. I'm going to say that much. I'm going to say if I had to describe the Southeast and Florida squads, I mean the boys want to win. They want to win every single time out. They want to make it a statement. They're trying to go tutty every time. They're trying to go 7. They want the tutty and they want the extra point, unlike half the kickers in the NFL who can't make them anymore.
Well, we saw what happens when you miss one field goal. You're immediately cut from a team.
You're immediately kicking field goals on a park bench in Indiana. I felt bad.
Yeah, no, that was not great.
Blankenship did not deserve that.
Here's the thing: if you videotape maybe a professional athlete or someone famous in a moment where they're not really too happy, maybe don't post it on the internet.
Yeah. He was in an Indiana park. He got cut from the Colts.
Yeah,
getting his kicks in, and next thing you know, he's getting chirped. You never want that.
And you know what, guys are already having a bit of an issue, but it really is that competitive here too. I mean, we see it every year, especially now with the infantry coming into the backyard of a lot of these teams, and not just recruiting players from around the country, but recruiting players from these teams' established quote-unquote backyards as well.
Yeah.
And then just kind of waltzing in here, looking like they own the place, getting ready to go. We're always excited for this. This showcase has always provided a lot of fireworks on what is usually our opening weekend covering hockey. I expect this year to be no different.
How about Jeremy Dewar, the left defenseman on this premier side? This is a young man out of Beaumont, Alberta. 6'2" tall. I think he's going to have a lot of work to do on this defensive end of the ice for the Hampton Roads, and I think this is a guy that they're going to trust in a lot when you talk to Coach Tubert and the crew.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to, right? You bring in somebody like that with numbers like that, and I think that's a guy you lean on. And I think you welcome that challenge, right? When the team potentially puts a little bit of extra expectation on you, you thrive on that, right?
Yeah.
That becomes, like, as you say, Dan, the soil that you try to grow in and really become the
Look at
player that
that.
leads the team.
Look at him listening to me when we're in the car.
That's it.
You got to grow in the soil.
See,
Yeah, it's like a seed.
When I say something, it's like the monkeys with the symbols in your brain. But when you're talking, I'm usually listening.
What?
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dan K back on the mic. No, we got a big weekend ahead, Lucas.
Yep.
We got a lot of hockey to be had. You can watch along on Hockey TV each and every day. We'll be on the call 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Puck drop still to come. Florida Junior Blades taking on the Richmond Generals. Remember, during that broadcast, you can vote on social media at @the_Dan K Show with hashtag star of the game. Let us know who you think the star of the game should be. They will get an interview ice side at the conclusion of that one. Richmond Generals, the defending elite national champions, taking on the Florida Junior Blades. The Dan K Show on the call, 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Dan K. Lucas Jones yet again. Motor City Gamblers taking on the Columbia Infantry in a Prem matchup. That is primetime Premier Hockey, brought to you by Dan K. Lucas Jones. GMU Sport, I'm wearing their shirt. There's hats on the table. Why are we doing that, Lucas? Go ahead. Why don't you do the ad read?
GMU Sport, last year's national sponsor, current partner of the USPHL. You can go to gmusport.com. There is a $500 team package. You can also use the code USPHL22 at checkout. Parents, players, fans, anything you want from that website, USPHL22. You get the discount. It's great stuff. Pre-workout, recovery drinks, protein drinks. Dan K and I used it this summer with great results.
Great results.
We feel great.
We feel good. I got a little tan going on. We're getting back into shape. We're getting back into the fighting shape here.
We cannot promise that GMU Sport will get you a tan. That you will have to do on your own.
GMU Sport cannot give you a tan. Correct.
Yes.
But if
your shirt will.
If you move to Florida and then you get tan and then you put on a bright yellow shirt to add to the tan.
Reflect it out. Yeah.
Poppin'.
That's it.
Bussin'.
As Commissioner Turo has been to be
Commissioner
quoted on.
Turo. That was a quote from Commissioner Bob Turo on
Yes.
the website, the new website. You should go to USPHL.com. Check out that beautiful new website right now. Commissioner Turo did say the website is bussin'.
For real.
For real.
That's a direct quote, and hopefully he's not watching this right now. We'll have to prep him for that. But other than that, Dan, that's the GMU Sport ad read. Now throw it back to you.
Bodytrick.com, body-trick.com. They've got the trick for you. You want to know how his hair gets that curly, how this hair gets coiffed? Well, you got to go to body-trick.com to find out how to take care of that hair care. Guess what else they got? They got a little icy hot action where they'll get on the muscles and everything, and it's all natural. It's good for you. Body-trick. The last thing, what smells the worst? Worse than anything in the world. What's the worst smelling thing in the world?
Hockey gear.
Hockey gear. And guess what? Body Trick has the trick for you. Body-trick.com. Their penalty kill spray will kill any smelly penalty in your hockey gear bag. Spray it all over everything. Spray it along the locker room. Go to body-trick.com today and tell them that the Dan K Show sent you. That's it, Lucas. Give me your parting words. We got to go call a hockey game. When Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. Be sure to tune in with the best broadcast crews the nation has to offer here from the USPHL South Showcase, live in Chesapeake, Virginia. Don't. Wait. Keep me on the air. Don't. I'm going the wrong way. Object permanence. Where are you going? No. Goodbye.